Today I will try my best, although among those outstanding group of speakers, I would like to share with you the lesson learned as well as the impact that have been achieved before I have become the president of the Union of Youth Federation of Cambodia, as well as throughout our volunteer work. First of all, a bit about myself. Again, thank you, Pamela. My name is Hun Many, as you see on the screen. I was born on 27th of November 1982, right here. If you can see on the screen, that's me, the one on the floor crying. And believe it or not, I was born and with a set of hair. And luckily enough, that half of my day I was with hair, and now half of my life is without my hair. Hopefully it doesn't shine too much over you all. I did my elementary school here in Cambodia. In 1991, I was sent to France to continue my studies. And high school throughout, I did my high school, starting first from France, and afterward graduating high school in the United States of America. Pursue my bachelor degree in political science at Hofstra University in Long Island, New York. And if some of you may know that Hofstra University is the university that has been holding and hosting the second debate of the United States presidential debate, the second one for the past two electoral campaign. Finishing my bachelor degree in political science, I pursued my study in Australia, graduating in Master of Art in International Relations, and I believe that some of you here are from Melbourne University as well. So am I. And so how many of you are from Melbourne Uni? Wow, glad to see all of you. Finishing my master degree in International Relations, and in 2009, I have received a grant from the Department of Defense of the United States of America to pursue a master degree in strategic security studies, focusing on counterterrorism. And as for work experience, in 2007, after finishing my master degree in Melbourne University, I joined the Prime Minister Cabinet, working under him as his personal secretary, in which I was able to join the different meetings as well as ASEAN, Asia-Europe meetings, ASEAN, and East Asia Summit. Being part of the discussion at the highest level would be also a very good lesson learned. And I am also the president, and currently I'm no longer his personal secretary. From July 2013, I have been elected to be a member of the National Assembly of the Kingdom of Cambodia. And currently, not only I am a member of the National Assembly, I am also the president of the Union of Youth Federation of Cambodia. Against this context and as well as this background, then you wonder yourself, how did I get started in volunteer work? Political science, international relations, but I end up doing volunteer work for now. It started with a few friends of mine. I think in 2011, we started to discuss that answering to one question is, how can we give back to our society? How can we contribute in our small way to what people can do, can receive from us, as well as society in general? So after the meeting, we came up with a movement called Youth in the Cause of Motherland, and which is a bit very similar to that is an answer to the question, probably the famous quote by former President of the United States, J.F. Kennedy, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. So this is a way, and throughout 2011, starting with the different activities, which I started first was blood donation, tree planting at the border near Pravahir Temple. And from now on, I have met many friends, many colleagues that still are with us today. I have experienced getting to know youth, seeing their potential, seeing their ability to think critically, as well as their ability to deliver and think outside the box. And since then, I have not looked back, and volunteerism is part of my job. So what exactly is volunteerism? I think we are all involved in volunteer work, but then we should ask ourselves, that exactly what is volunteerism. So according to the Collins English Dictionary, the principle of volunteerism is defined as the principle of donating time and energy for the benefit of other people in the community as a social responsibility rather than for any financial reward. Of course, I am also well aware that there's other definition. The UN has its own definition of volunteerism, but regardless, this is one we should go with today. And of course, there are some also skeptics who believe and who will also say that volunteerism is what? Has no profit or private gain to make. That has no material reward. It is selfless act. Spend tons of energy and time, and then for who? Most time, not even recognize our contribution toward our volunteer work. Then the question is, why do we do what we do? Why do we do what we do and keep on doing and improving our volunteer work? This is what the central question that I will try to answer and try to convince you that volunteerism matters, and it starts from each and every one of us. What are the positive points to take away, and why we should get involved continuously? That's why we are here, and I believe that is why all of you have traveled all over the world to be here in Cambodia to share the experience that we all have, our experience in volunteer work in each country and each context, and here the lesson learned and the impact that we have made a difference for the people and for society and for our nation is an important aspect for us to answer. As mentioned, I am the president of Union of Youth Federation of Cambodia. I am close to being 2 years in my serving time. But I would like to also let you know that this organization is not 2 years old, but actually 35 years old. It was born in December 2nd, 1978, that has the name of the United Youth Association for National Salvation of Cambodia. And in order to understand how we came to be and how it started that age, I think we need to look at the context of Cambodia at that time. Cambodia has been, although indirectly, but heavily impacted because of the Vietnam War. During that time, I think many things has happened, for geopolitical reasons, for ideological presence. But unfortunately, Cambodia is located in an area of geopolitical importance then and continuously now. The Vietnam War impact heavily on Cambodia, and one of the main issue that has been impacted, although indirect, is the bombing that occurred between 1968 and 1973. In all, 2.75 million tons of bomb have been dropped, 230,000 sorties. I think any of you with the Air Force of the military background would probably understand that more than I do, and across 113,000 sites. More than that, and that is according to the research and declassified information by the Department of Defense in the late 1990s during former President Clinton's visit to Vietnam, and published by the Yale University. Another important and indirectly and unintentionally effect because of the Vietnam War and the bombings, is the rise in popularity of the Khmer Rouge genocidal regime. That is, according to Ben Kiernan, that is, the bombing directly contribute to the rise in popularity of the Khmer Rouge with the Cambodian people. And more, other than that, the Khmer Rouge genocidal regime is, according to some scholars, comparable to what Hitler was during World War II. The rise of the Khmer Rouge started and officially with the fall of Phnom Penh on April 17, 1975. It lasted until January 7, 1979. And with under their rule starvation, massacre, forbidden of religious practice, mass execution, and genocide, claimed the lives of almost 3 million Cambodians in less than 4 years. The recollection is more closely depicted, and this is a picture from the movie, The Killing Fields. I believe that some of you may know about it, and this is what the proof and the movie itself is quite closely depicting what has happened during the 3 years, 20 days, and 8 months and 20 days under the Khmer Rouge regime. And on that note, I would like also to thank each and every one of you that is representative of countries, donors, who have actually continuously donated and funded the extraordinary chamber in the court of Cambodia, or in short, ECCC, that is a hybrid international court that is prosecuting the top-level leader of the Khmer Rouge, so to find justice and closure for the victims, the survivors, and keep the memories and atrocities of the Cambodians who have suffered during the Khmer Rouge regime. Facing that context, on December 2nd, many factions who opposed the Khmer Rouge gathered together to form the United Front for National Salvation of Cambodia, which the United Youth Association for National Salvation of Cambodia is one of the main pillars. Undoubtedly, the dream was to end the Khmer Rouge regime massacre, execution, and genocide, a better future for the generation to come. They met at Sunol district in Kraches province, planned to execute the offensive against the Khmer Rouge regime and the overthrow of them. And soon after December 2nd, 1978, the offensive against the Khmer Rouge regime and liberated Cambodia and then the country of their rule in January 7, 1979. They dream, they plan, and they carry out their action. And what is the result of the impact of what they have done then is the fruit that we are here. One of it is the fruit that we are here today, is the peace that we are enjoying. So mentioned, 35 years ago, we are now 35 years old. On December 2nd, we were born, known as the United Youth Association for National Salvation of Cambodia. In 1992, we changed our name to Youth Association of Cambodia, which is an NGO, in 1992. And after the third General Assembly, on November 3rd, 2012, the Youth Association of Cambodia, after was changed to the Union Youth Federation of Cambodia, and I was elected president until now. So what is UYFC? UYFC is the Union Youth Federation of Cambodia, is an all-embracing front and an umbrella organization unifying all youth movements without discrimination of race, of complexion, of sex, of language, belief, religion, social strata, and political tendencies in order to build Cambodia a state of independence, territorial integrity, national unity, peace, democracy, and prosperity. Our aim is to help train Cambodian youth to become the pillars and backbone of the nation, and as potential successor to preserve the past achievements, and to achieve social, economic development in the future. The resilience of Cambodian youth means the promising future for the nation. In another word, it is to create an opportunity for our youth to actively engage and contribute, as well as understanding our responsibility and ability to positively affect change toward our society and the future of our nation. Currently, UYFC family is getting bigger, and we have 24 branches all across the country. And from year to year, since 2012, we have received volunteers across our different events, about 20,000 volunteers each and every, per year. That is, for example, in 2013, marking the 35th anniversary of the Union of Youth Federation of Cambodia, we gathered about 20,000 youth joining us and doing a concert all together to thank them for their volunteer work, for their contribution and impact on society, but as well as remember and celebrating what we have achieved. Our partners is the Royal, we have partners as well as support of the Royal Government of Cambodia, and I have to specify that it's only in kind and support, it's no financial. The NGOs, private sector, international, regional youth entities. We have an MOU with the People Association of Singapore, All China Youth Federation of China, and also with our counterpart in Vietnam, Federation of Youth Federation of Ho Chi Minh. So what are some of our activities that we are focusing on so that we can create an opportunity as well as through our event for youth to participate and understand and get benefit from it? One such an activity is the remembering of December 2nd, and as mentioned, that one of the main reasons why we want to remember that day is where we never to forget where we are from. But not only that, it is to celebrate, to get together, strengthen our bond, but also celebrate what our achievement and impact and contribution to our society. It is done in two forms. One, we do a camping on site. In 2002, we gather all youth from across the country, member of Union of Youth Federation of Cambodia, on site of where 35 years ago it all happened. So rather than just teaching them by slide, we went on site at Snow District, camped for 2 nights and 3 days, listened to the survivors as well as those youth who were involved in the incursion against the Khmer Rouge regime on site, and understand, so we are able to reflect on what has been done. And the concert is reminding us as well and celebrating as well. We also involved in sports, that is different sport, but mainly soccer, which is soccer league that we have a program of. Tiger street football, which is a cage-based football, as well as volleyball. Sport offers the opportunity for our youth to express themselves through their loves of sport and to form friendship along the way. Of course, of a friendly competition manner, but also it does help to allow youth to stay away from ill activities in society, such as gangs, as stay away from illicit drugs and other activities that is not acceptable in our society. For example, we just held recently our competition on volleyball, and a few of the members of the UYFC prevent team are former those who were involved in using illicit drugs. Now, involving in playing sport, they have get away from those lifestyles. Our community work. Our effort is to prepare ourselves to collaboration with the royal government of Cambodia as well as the Red Cross in case they need force and man labor in order to carry out disaster relief assistance. In 2013, for example, Cambodia was hit by a heavy flood, and that URC involved in the assistance and disaster relief. Each province initiated themselves and take part in the disaster relief with the government, the provincial government, as well as the Red Cross government. In that, we can contribute in terms of manpower to assist our government as well as the Red Cross to assist our people. Youth and Clean City, it is a mechanism that which we actually join with the Ministry of Tourism, forming and promoting and raising awareness about clean city, clean environment, and the direct impact on our health. And one of the key messages that we want to promote into our youth is that each and individual action from us make a different impact. It is a difference between throwing trash yourself, and also picking up, doing the picking up by yourself. So if each and everyone take part in that, eliminating, changing from throwing trash, but just picking up trash, then overall approach would start from us. That is small action, but big impact as a whole. And just to have met some of the high school students who told me that I think one of the campaigns that we have done was promoting youth and clean city, and that's what I told them as well. And some of them actually mentioned that picking up trash, it's dirty, they would not do it, but only because they did not understand what would be the impact that they actually can contribute by them joining in advocating as well as in the movement. Another activity that we have done and continue to assist is helmet and traffic accident prevention. Working closely with the National Road Committee and Helmet and Accident Prevention, we are organizing and raising seminar to raise awareness about the importance of wearing helmet. I think Cambodia is at a point where it is becoming an increasingly a big problem, where in 2012 alone, 1,966 persons died, and 83% of them were between the age of 15 and 55 years old, and the majority of them died because they did not wear helmet, both in front and in the back of a motorcycle. And I remember a colleague of mine, I think an expert from in this field from Japan also, they mentioned that in Japan, just to campaign for this awareness and people to actually follow this rule, helmet wearing as well as seat belt wearing, it takes quite a long time. So education is the key. Mechanism, the legal means that the government actually put in place. If it doesn't start by understanding it, the risk of dying, and the ability to actually prevent it by your individual action, especially paying attention, I think doesn't matter how much you spend, it's not going to be working. So education is first the key, and raising awareness is important. Another activity that we have been heavily involved in is blood drive. Blood donation is something that is matter, and blood donation is something that directly impacts in saving life. And we need to start understanding by each and every one of us why it matters. I think we have also, we've been informed that with those, for example, that every day it needs about 80 units of blood to actually donate for those affected and involved in traffic accident, and those also involved with other areas as well. So helmet and traffic accident prevention and blood donation go hands in hand. In UIC, of Kandal province, they have started and initiated what they call a blood bank, which UIC members actually donate their blood. They receive a card from the center, the health center, so that they can exchange if their own family member needed blood, and they will be on call to actually give donation of their blood. And this is one thing that we are looking at expanding nationally. And each UIC member at the provincial level have also taken the initiative to actually do so as well. I think blood donation is also important, and it does save life, considering that many of our mothers, maternity death at birth is also attributed to lack of blood. I think although the number of maternity death rate is decreasing, which is really a good news in Cambodia, but at the same time, knowing that you can help just by giving and donating your blood, not only you can save the mother who is delivering, and sometimes you can also help and assist the newborn baby. The question is, would you do it? And what if that person is somebody related to you? So making our youth understanding and aware that it is just giving blood, you are impacting and saving lives, is a matter that is important to us as well. Another campaign that we have been doing is anti-cervical cancer. In Cambodia, about 900 women die every year of cancer, and 90% of them are due to cervical cancer. It is something that we have recently started, and it is a risk, and that is important as well to us. And of course, there's many discussion of why men need to be involved in advocating and raising awareness as well. Women need to understand, and they have been promoting as well as advocating. But if husband, brothers, or fathers join hand and try just to warn and offer opinion for women, wife, sisters, or friends, just to go for a checkup, because cervical cancer is 100% preventable as long as you continuously do the checkup. And of course, it is a matter for us men to consider very seriously as well, because without women, there won't be us either. Of course, other than those community service, we are also involved in promoting as well, educating our youth of the next generation, of this generation, including myself, about the heritage and culture that we have, as well as the traditional, which is we as youth are proud to have and need to learn, as well as continue preserving it for the future generation to come. So since 2013, we have celebrated an event called Angkor Sankranta, which is take place during the Khmer New Year in Siem Reap. And our main objective and our intention was to turn Siem Reap back in time, in an area where, at the closest possible, the lifestyle of that era. So during 3 days, with our youth volunteer, the clothes are also different. The activities and the livelihood is also different. And the main idea of creating events such as Angkor Sankranta is to promote our heritage and culture, but offer the experience so that our locals and international friends can actually enjoy, can discover what is the traditional games, traditional dance, and other activities related to Cambodian culture. And of course, in the spirit of unity, solidarity, and love. And without further ado, we have a video so to show you what exactly Angkor Sankranta is, and please enjoy. Cambodian Khmer New Year, during Cambodian Khmer New Year, in which in practice that every Cambodian actually get away from their stress of work, go back to their province and stay together at the house with family to enjoy. And each and every year, those months, Phnom Penh becomes very deserted. So what we wanted to do is to recreate. We didn't want to eliminate that it is a time of the year that individual relatives actually get together with family, but we want to do that at a bigger level, where is to get a bigger, which is among Cambodian family to celebrate it all together in Siem Reap. And at the same time, providing an opportunity for our international friends to enjoy, to discover, and experience. And I would like to also, not as an event promoter, but we are already in the preparation stage of Angkor Sankranta 2015, that we will make it bigger next year. And of course, I would like, with your participation, it will make the festivity of Angkor Sankranta 2015 even a better and a bigger celebration to us. So the dream was to create that event that everyone can actually enjoy, everyone can forget their stress, and actually join us all together at Siem Reap. The preparation stage, like in the video that you have seen, the planning took about 2 months, and each and every one of us actually joined. And during the preparation stage, as well as the preparation and creation of Angkor Sankranta, I would like to proudly say that it's all done by the creativity and the ingenuity and ability of our youth. There's no one else, it's all UYRC. And we allowed our youth to divide into different responsibility and come up with their own vision about what they want to see. Some of you, in the video, you may have seen an area where you have kind of house in the background and people then standing in front. Those are completely man-made because it is an area that is preserved by UNESCO. And only during those 3 days we are able to construct those houses to actually make the performance more realistic and going back in time. So as a result of our preparation, in 3 days with 3,000 volunteers, we have gathered more than 300,000 people, both Cambodians domestically and also overseas and international friends joining us for the entire 3 days. Our direct contribution and impact is $30 million US in terms of economy giving to our people and the Siem Reap economy. That is from what we do, and then the impact is as it has seen. During the event, we showcase different games, our tug of war, and of course I have to give all the credit to our youth volunteer as well as our working team. Without them, there would not be Angkor Sankranta. Without them, there won't be the success of Angkor Sankranta. For example, tug of war. 1,000 youth, actually more than 1,000 youth participated, and we actually, for the first time, break our national record of tug of war. Stone art workshop, which is in Cambodian term, Pachak Silatan. I'm pretty sure that many of you who actually have seen Angkor Wat and have been to Angkor Wat have seen the monuments and the heritage that is one of the wonders of the world. But have you ever actually learned and see specifically how and where the stones are fetched, brought, because there's no technology, brought to the area of Angkor Wat, carved and assembled into the monument that you see at the final stage. And stone art workshop is an idea come up with by our youth working team, and all of them come up with the reenactment of how from start to finish we bring our stones, carve it, and actually assemble it all together by man-made. And of course, we do not forget all the contribution of the different countries that have been assisting us in preserving and restore rating our national heritage and world heritage. Angkor Sankranta also showcased the Bogotá, which is a martial art, a traditional Cambodian martial art that is inscribed within the wall of Angkor Wat. That has been long lost, but now put back and bring back and re-elevated to its status. Of course, the happiness and the fun that comes from traditional games, traditional popular games, and traditional dance, and of course with our youth volunteer wearing the traditional clothes of that time rather than the clothes that we have today. So to reenact what it was in the era of in the Angkor era. Of course, needless to say, we also observe our religious practice as it is the tradition and the culture. Again, everything that has been done and has been achieved cannot be without the contribution of our youth volunteer. And all of them gave us through sun, rain, and hard work, tiredness, they all accomplished their mission with dedication, with smile, and with highest responsibility. So all the success of Angkor Sankranta is all due to the 3,000 youth volunteers that we have, and many of them, a few of them are in the room as well. So why all the activities matter? And how does those activities illustrate and answer the original question that we have stated at the beginning? So why do we do what we do and keep on doing and improving our volunteer work? Why we do what we do? Because throughout the events, as well as our volunteer work, first of all, you learn how to manage your time, to get involved responsibility and actively carry out the mission set in order to accomplish your mission. You get to know each other, increasing the bonding, the friendship, and getting to know more and more people within the group that has the same mindset. And the experience that you gain from preparation and from implementation of each event is a skill that cannot be acquired through classroom, but it is a know-how that you must be acquired through learning and implementing. Other than that, and more importantly, it is the impact that each and every event that we actually do that has impact on the people as well as society. For example, understanding that our individual donation of blood can impact and save lives of another or of loved ones of another definitely make our work worthwhile. But what keep us on going, on doing and improving our volunteer work? I think there are many factors, but for me, I believe there's 3 important factors that is important for us to keep on moving forward and be strong and be firm on our position in volunteer work. First of all, I think it's motivation. Without motivation, I think in any work, academically, socially, or publicly, or private sector, without motivation, I think it is hard for us to keep on going. Yes, it is true that without motivation, we have to accomplish or do certain work because our work requires to do. But then without motivation, I believe that you don't have the strength and the will to actually keep on doing what you love to do. So motivation is the first. But motivation, I believe, starts from somewhere. And I think the second one is hope. I think we start from hoping that doing one specific activity, we will achieve something. For example, studying, preparing for an exam, we hope that we can pass. And involving in volunteer work, as well as youth and clean city, just picking up trash, we hope that our individual action can get to a complete picture, which is the overall cleanliness of the city. Our individual blood donation, we hope that it can save life. But then hope is a unit of chance, I would say. It is, I think, as just raised right now, we study for an exam. We hope that we will pass the exam. But hoping is something of 50-50. Hoping is not something concrete that you can be confident of. It is, for example, I hope I can pass my exam. You never know what it will be. Hoping through your individual action and activities, especially in volunteer work and humanitarian work, it is always something that can be challenged, can be questionable, I think, from time to time. I believe a third point is important to keep everything in check, is a belief. Yes, some people may say that belief is a bit idealistic, but I believe that in a world where, in the term, I think in international politics term, I think it's of realist perspective, of individualism. I think belief is important for each and every one of us who actually participate in volunteer work as well as in humanitarian work. It is belief allow us to see the goodness in the people. Once you see people as somebody who is selfish, individual, take more than give, then yes, the world becomes in a certain way. So belief is important, and I believe that with belief, I think that with belief, hope and motivation goes a long way. And all 3 points all together, you have to believe that your hope can become a reality, and with motivation and dedication, you can actually accomplish everything and anything that we set our mind to. Dare to dream, plan it, and do it. I think that's the rule of the game. And it is important that those 3 points combined together keep us believing, hoping, and with our individual motivation, we can achieve anything and everything we set our mind to. But dreaming is not only the beginning. I think we have also mentioned, I think this morning many speakers has raised, dreaming is important, but it is only the starting point. Dreaming without doing it, it will only remain as a dream. And doing it without preparation and planning, it can not be as effective as the step of planning before doing it. So dreaming, we need not only dreamers, we need also doers, and doers who are able to plan ahead will be, the result would be more effectively as we envision. I don't know what the future may lie, but I believe in certain points, and I believe let's believe in yourself, and your individual action matters and impact positively on someone else's life as well as society you live in. Believe in each other, and that together we can achieve so much more. Believe in the good nature and intention of each and every one of us. Believe in the future. Believe that we can make a difference through our individual action, and become an individual who gives more than take. Let us believe. Thank you.
That is a really great presentation. Yeah, I'm a delegate from Taiwan and really glad to be here. So just as you said, I think one thing, I'm not asking the questions, I just want to share.
Okay, I've got to make it quick then, because we really want questions.
I think believe what you do can make an impact or matter for someone else. It's the same important as you have to think in other people's angle. You have to stand in other people's shoes, right? You're not doing it like imagine it, you need this, so I do this for you. You have to find out what people need. You have to observe the demands, observe what people are in difficulties, and you put your effort in it. So I think thinking for other people, compassion is very important too. Thank you for your sharing.
Thank you.
All right. And again, we'd like you to address a question, and we appreciate that, but we want to make sure that we can get through as many as possible. So.
My name's Ben from Australia, and first up, I'd just like to say thank you for sharing with us today. I was wondering, personally, how do you inspire those three factors of motivation, hope, and belief of the people you work with?
I think personally, I did it through my own experience. I think I believe that each and every one of us have a different feelings about it. I think even the order of the wording are also different. But I take it from my experience of how actually I see it and keep myself the motivation of going forward. So that alone, the experience that I have for almost 3 years now in terms of volunteer work, that we need to identify key factors that keep us moving forward and keep on doing selfless acts to give more than take in order to realize that what you are doing is the right thing. Because along the way, including myself, I think for the past 3 years, have many people who ask me, what's the point of doing what you do? What's the point of paying so much attention and giving so much time to those work? There are so many other work, including my boss at the National Assembly, who is asking me why I'm not at the National Assembly less than on the floor wearing a UYFC shirt. It's the same thing. So along the way, there will be a lot of challenge that can make you question what you are doing. So identifying key factors, why, and to explain to yourself what your action matters, keep on doing it, it's the right thing. I think that's important of identifying. And I agree with you, there's possibly other factors that each and every one actually think to, relate to, but those 3 points are really of my personal experience alone. Thank you.
Thank you.
The young lady here. Go ahead.
Hi there, I'm Harriet from Australia. That was a really interesting talk. I guess I'm just wondering, with the idea of volunteerism, I'd really like to know how we can shift it from something which just happens in the moment and just happens over, a few weeks when somebody's in country doing, something in a school or an orphanage, to a contribution that's brief but becomes something that has a far-reaching impact, I guess.
Thank you for your question. I think that is, again, something that I felt that I think volunteerism is a very international term, and belief, and as well as delineating with event-based volunteerism to something that is more mechanized, have a foundation and have a stronger believing in the impact that we actually contribute to. I think that is important. And I think it has reaching. Doesn't matter if you are from Australia, from Cambodia, or any other country. It is a foundation that actually allow us to believe in what we do and continue to what we do. Thank you.
Over here.
Hi, my name's Sasha. I'm also from Australia. I just noticed how many volunteers you have, and it's really great. And I was wondering if you had any advice of why do you think volunteers choose to volunteer for your organisation, and how could we, in our own organisation, improve how many volunteers we have?
Thank you very much for this question. First of all, I have to say that, of course, I'm talking on behalf of Union Youth Federation of Cambodia, and then I will only talk about my own experience. But definitely, there's many other NGO that have activities, and so many volunteers are actually joining as well. For us, I think it is the event in itself. I think what we are trying to do is to formulate an event, but an idea behind the event, what is it about? I think, like, for example, Angkor Sankranta, I think we only enumerate and let our volunteer know what it is all about and what is our intention. Then their motivation to actually join us is really their own, and their performance actually getting back from that, from understanding the vision, why we are doing it. I think that's what keep them joining our event, and as well as keep on going with us as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
While I move over, can you also tell us what age group do you start at?
I'm sorry?
What age group, what are the ages of the youth that they can come into the organization? How old are they?
It is between 18 and 30.
Okay.
And also, but of course, we are not limited only to that, but we have also from 15 to much older than just 30. and we welcome them as long as it is part of the event and purposely during the intention that we want to do.
Okay, great. Thank you. Gentleman here.
I'm Ravi from Sri Lanka. It's a Hun Many. As I mentioned earlier, I have very nice presentation. You have done very nice presentation. Actually, it's comment for you and this organization and presentation. My question is very simple. I would like to know the answer for this question. How many youth organization in Cambodia and under your youth federation? I would like to know the activities and the impact in our national development and youth empowerment. Thank you very much.
How many organizations?
How many different organizations within the union?
Youth Federation and Cambodia.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this question. I think at Central Committee members have a representative from the Scout, from the Red Cross, as well as from youth association throughout university, both public and private. And we also have a youth representative from the private sector as well.
Okay,
Thank
let's
you.
stay on this side, then I'll come to you. Young lady? Can you
Hello, good afternoon. It was a pleasant speech. I'm a delegate from the Philippines. My name is Ren Villegas.
Hi.
I'd like to ask, if you were in a country that is very diverse, especially with culture, the religion, and the language, since we have a lot of dialects in the Philippines, how can you bring people together using your 3 factors?
Thank you very much. I think that's a tough one.
That was a doozy.
Thank you. If I'm not mistaken, you are speaking on the context of Philippines or Cambodia? You are asking for the context of Cambodia or the Philippines?
From your perspective, any would do.
For us, for example, we do have different dialect and also different religions. But one thing that comes out of the bad experience and history that we have is that throughout the genocidal regime of the Khmer Rouge, anybody that comes out after the liberation of Cambodia, everyone is considered as Cambodian. And everyone have that mindset. So in terms of having, getting together, and we don't have a big issue of identity. So everyone actually go together, and again, it starts with that history that is horrible. But I believe that it is a tough question.
I think it's just good food for thought for all of us.
No, definitely.
How can we do that and apply that in our own lives?
I think the experience of many countries that I have seen, I think Singapore is one, the Philippines is one, China that has more than, I think, 40s or 50s dialect and also ethnic group. Myanmar is, I believe, is meeting some quite a challenge as well. I think there's many factors. I think dialogue is important, first of all, and understanding and an inclusive community and identity base. I think for a national unity is important. But again, in terms of implementing it, that's another story. Thank you. I think I would probably learn more from your experience at the Philippines, actually. Sorry, I don't have very much an answer to that question.
All right, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, and the gentleman right here.
Good afternoon. First, I'd like to thank you for that really, really good speech. I'm Hari from the Philippines as well. And my question's also a little bit complicated. With most projects, money always seems to be one of the biggest perceived hindrances. How would you bridge volunteers and the financiers or people who want to support? How would you link them together?
Thank you very much. I think that is always the hardest point, and that's why I reiterate that the royal government of Cambodia actually doesn't sponsor us financially so much, rather than support us, I think, in terms of what our event is. That is always the biggest issue. I think in bringing our volunteer work, our volunteers to actually to assist in realizing an event is always crucial. I take the experience of Angkor Sankranta, for example. What we do is try our best to make it the event that is sellable to marketing, to actually private sector. So during Angkor Sankranta, we have many private sector, private company actually assisting us in that matter, as well as we have individual private donors that actually understand what we are trying to do and also contribute heavily to our different events as well. But again, that is always an issue. But what we try to learn, I'm not an economist or business mind myself, but I'm lucky enough that my team actually know how to do marketing, and actually it does help a lot. It's not 100% there yet, but definitely calibrating your event so that it is sellable, it is marketable. I think that is one important thing. It's never easy. And one good thing that we are very proud of course, is the basics for volunteerism is we only accommodate our youth volunteer with accommodation, food, and stay, but no monetary reward. That helps a lot, and actually some of them oppositely actually contribute even more to our event. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, one from the middle.
Hi, I'm Riza, delegates from Malaysia. I have two questions.
Okay, we're going to limit you to one, so choose one.
Choose one only?
Choose one.
Okay, I will make it simple. Okay, you said that there are 20,000 volunteers that engage with the USLS. So it's specific only for the Cambodian. Why don't you open it for those outsiders? And also one more thing, normally when we want to do something...
Let's stay with the one question. Okay, so you want to ask that, why don't you open it out to people outside of Cambodia?
Okay, one question only. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we welcome very much our foreign partners as well as foreign friends, I think, joining us. I didn't elaborate very much more. Angkor Sankranta 2015, for example, we welcome any friends. I think we have positive feedback from our friends from People Association of Singapore, who will be sending a group of youth volunteers to participate and also join our event at Angkor Sankranta 2015, as well as we are working closely with many more embassy and ambassador to actually allow them to actually join us. Remember, we are only about 1.5 years old, close to being 2 years. We are so many things that we have done domestically, but internationally we still have a limitation. I think in the next week or so, I'll be traveling to actually Malaysia and discuss with our Malaysian counterpart about our collaboration at the youth level. And I think the next few days we will be talking about, discussing with the representative of the Russian Federation about our collaboration as well. We are very much welcome and very open to international and regional collaboration, but I think with our limitation of financial resources and other resources, we are actually doing it step by step and whatever we can. We are very welcome to everyone who can.
Okay,
thank you.
Okay, gentleman over here.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ratana. I'm a Cambodian delegate. And thank you so much, brother, for your best sharing experience. I have one question for you. This question is very big for you. As your vision, what is the main priority strategy should we do to change our country to become the development and famous country in the world?
I'm sorry.
Okay, can you repeat it and just slow down again?
I just want to ask you through your vision, what is the main priority strategy that we should do to change our country to become the development and famous country in the world?
Thank you. I wish I was the Prime Minister to answer that question, but I'm not. But definitely I would offer my own perspective on that issue. I think it starts by each and every one of us changing their mindset. That we are able and we have potential human resources to compete at the regional, at the regional as well as international level. What we need to dream is to make our country much better, #1 in the world, and we should actually start by doing that, having that dream set. But once you have that dream set, you need also to consider what are the steps that we need to be done. For example, you cannot say, I'm proud of my country, but then go babbling about all the bad things that is happening. It should start by the individual mindset. And of course, there's many aspects. What is #1 in the world? Economically, politically, diplomacy, cultural, I think we need to actually consider what is realistic and what is not realistic, and what is the priority and what is not the priority. Economic-wise, I don't think we probably will try our best, but catching up to United States of China, I think it would be hard, even in the region, catching up to Singapore, for example. But we must have a dream very high. And I agree with you totally, we must start by that. And working together of how to reach that factor. And many path is there, but as long as we think positively, and positive change is important factor so that actually we can reach it. Then afterward, you can choose whether it is economically first, I think diplomacy afterward, or political, security, let's not talk about it. But of course, cultural is probably one of the mechanisms that we can have a comparative advantage.
Thanks so much, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please.
Hello, sir. My name is John. I'm a delegate from Thailand. So my question is, according to you said that your organization, even you doesn't have something called business mindset, even though you did NGO. So how can you make sure that your human resource or your volunteer when do their work, if the project get lost or something like that happen, they will feel like demotivated between their volunteer journey. So how can you make sure that not going to happen and it's not going to affect your number that's going to increase in the future?
Okay, let's start again. If I'm understanding you correctly, you want to know how he can, since you're not the business person in the group, and you're operating as an NGO, in the event that there's some loss financially, how do you keep everything together? If I'm catching the gist.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I got it. I got a question now. As we are very young right now, we are experiencing right now, experimenting at the Phnom Penh level, UYC Phnom Penh branch level. We don't have an event that is continuously over time. We are actually now shifting from event-based volunteerism to something that is advocating continuously. For example, one of the issues that actually we are able to sustain ourselves is helmet and accident prevention mechanism, which has the National Committee on Helmet and Accident Prevention Mechanism that is our main partner, as well as an NGO against prevention of accident. These are the event that is sustainable and that actually I can keep on going. Youth and Clean City, because the Ministry of Tourism is the one in charge, and we only contribute in kind, in effort, and in going and then raising awareness to our youth. Then the expense is not very high. Angkor Sankranta, Soccer League, and other mechanisms, if we cannot find sponsors, of course we will not do it because we won't be able to do it anyway. And I agree with you that before we actually start an event, we need to consider that financial factor first. If you are not able to actually do it, and the event does not gather enough sponsorship, then of course we won't be able to actually move forward, and we won't be actually publicly advertised to our youth volunteer. So it is really dividing event-based volunteerism and also which is a continuous event for volunteerism.
Thank you.
Great. And over here?
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Tolga. I come from Mongolia, came from Mongolia. And are you planning to do like international projects, which there's like World Dignity Day, World Hepatitis Day, which it happens like everywhere around the world at the exact date of like some month, some date. Are you planning to do like any international projects with different countries, cooperating with different NGOs?
Thank you very much. I think this is something that we are looking at, and the truth is that I haven't actually detailed what is our plan for 2015, but this is one thing we are looking at. Again, URC domestically, we are strong, we are the biggest NGO, but internationally, we have our limitation as well. And because we don't have there are certain events that government actually support us, but not really the main actor in sponsoring the event, then for us our event must be considered how much outreach we can have and also how much we can spend to sustain ourselves in that matter. So yes, we hope that one day we can host an international event which UYRC can do. We have done so in the past, which is very small. It's not small, but for us it's quite big. It's the Asia Youth Forum, that in which I think we have delegation from Mongolia as well. But our partner is the Asia Youth Council of Malaysia, who is the head, and as a member, one of our central committee member is the member of a vice president of the Asia Youth Council. We were able to host that international level seminar in Cambodia last year. But yes, thank you very much for that question. We have our limitation, but we are looking forward that one day we actually be able to host that international event.
A future activity for you, right?
I'm sorry?
I said future activities for you.
Yes,
okay.
Thank you.
We'll stay at this side here. Thank you for that. Go ahead.
How you doing? My name is Chris from Canada, and my question is, basically in North America, despite being a first world country, we still have a prevalence of issues such as poverty, high school debt, and despite what some people might think about our country, our continent, there are a lot of problems that make us tend to be very close-minded, pessimistic, and unfortunately they might not have an opportunity to go to Cambodia and learn more about some of the achievements that your country and your organization have made. So my question is, what are some of the Cambodian values or aspects of your leadership that you would recommend Canadian leaders trying to enact change in our country to pursue or to learn?
Thank you very much. I think that is really crucial and really important. I think it starts everything by understanding and knowing each other. I think, and that's why dialogue is important. And as youth is the future of leaders of the next generation, so I think increasing an environment where there's direct discussion and communication between the two countries at either government level, at people-to-people level, I think it would definitely enhance the understanding, the mutual understanding. And the value that we have, I think there are many, but I think it's all start by first understanding and trying to understanding each other. And in order to do that is really to come to Cambodia. I think vice versa, I would say a bit hard. For example, if there was a Canadian youth organization to come to Cambodia, was probably much better than us going to Canada, because I would say I cannot afford it. It's all financial issue, but definitely discussion and common understanding and mutual understanding must be created. But it cannot be, learning from each other through the internet or things like that. It must be people to people, and that is very crucial.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, young lady in the middle.
Hi, my name is Rosa, and I'm delegate from Melbourne. I have a question. Seeing that you've done your studies in the US and in Australia, I just wanted to know, how did your international experience influence your humanitarian work?
Thank you very much. I think that is crucial. I always say that I love being my experience learning in the US. I think in Australia as well. But Cambodia is my home. So my understanding, I think my nurturing and having experience through my studies in the US and both in Australia, I think coming back here, I am able to see, international perspective, but also how to fit that international perspective into the context of Cambodia. Unfortunately, you cannot have the experience of outside before understanding your own country. So I think giving the value, through my experience from what I have seen, and combining it with what I have studied through my years, doing and learning about Cambodia itself, I think that allows me to, and especially with the youth today who are really, oriented with the IT, with the internet, are very open. I think we can have easily understand each other as well, for that matter. I don't know whether I can actually answer your question or not. But. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question.
Tuesday, it means hello in Cambodia, and I'm originally Cambodian. And my question is, under the name of Prime Minister's son, is that the advantage or disadvantage to run such a large institute of youth? And what are those?
Thank you very much for this question. I guess it's a really stereotype question, but I don't have any problem with that actually. Yes, there's advantages, but there's also disadvantages. But I think one of the issue that I always have, I think, with this issue is that rather than looking at me as a presenter, you are looking at my last name already, rather than actually judging myself. Well, a lot of people actually judge me from the cover of the book rather than the substance of the book. My presentation was not in the name of the Prime Minister's son. I am who I am, Hun Many, as you can say, and this is my own opinion and my belief and my perspective. The disadvantage is actually, that's one of them, is to be always judged as my father's son. Unfortunately, whatever I say here should be judged by whatever the substance and what I actually brought to the table, rather than my last name covering and overshadowing everything that I said. The advantages is that I believe that it does help from time to time, but because our volunteer event usually does not carry need for any intervention, doesn't need my name to actually open the door. It does help in a way, but most of the time it doesn't matter so much more. Of course, the prejudgment and the downside of it is that I will always be my father's son, and personally, I'm very proud of what my father has achieved. But that's at a personal level. At the work level and professional level, the presentation itself is what I am.
And that came through in the presentation. So you can't fake passion. Thank you for that. Okay, young lady in the middle.
I just wanted to ask, a lot of us at university work on humanitarian projects when we're at university. Do you have any advice from your own experience or from working with youth about how we can sustain what we've done at university once we graduate, because we will graduate?
I see. You mean the volunteer activities within the universities?
Yeah, so we do these projects at uni and then we graduate and we all leave. How do we continue these projects further and yes, sustain them?
I see. Thank you very much for this question. I think the truth, I don't know so much of the concept of community-based at the uni level, but from my experience from the US, for example, in order to get to a good school, you need to serve community service. So it is something of a requirement and an extra credit for you to actually enter a good school. I think outside the uni level, I think you yourself must experience and decide whether actually you like volunteer work during your time at the university level, and whether after university life you actually want to continue. For example, I was not involved in volunteer work at the university level, but actually I came here, started and fell in love with it and never looked back and never questioned what it is done. So it is very much based on your individual experience, whether you actually love volunteer work, doesn't matter whether it is in school or after school. I think once you actually love it, actually you like it and you understand the fundamental that is behind volunteer work, I believe that there's many organizations involved in different field of advocacy. And with that, I think it is really up to you whether you actually want to join that volunteer work or not, whether at uni or after uni.
Cool, thank you.
We'll stay right here in the middle. Go ahead, please.
Hello, I'm Gladys from the Philippines. My question is, how do you and your group manage or deal with discouragements either within the group or from outside sectors?
The discouragement?
How do you deal
How do you
with
manage
discouragement?
discouragements?
How do you manage discouragement either in the organization or outside?
I think I was blessed actually in a way that, and I keep on telling my colleague, I think we started very small of what we wanted to achieve. And that's why I put in my second point of let's, it's believe in each other. I think you need not only you need to find a point where you have a firm argument for yourself, but also always discuss with your teammate. Those who are very close to you have the same mindset. Because those who actually try to discourage you is never within the group that understand what you are doing and what's the benefit you are doing. So relying on each other who know yourself, who have the same vision, who have been through together with different events, I think that's what help you more than just your own belief, but feeding back from each other's strength. I'm very glad actually, and I'm fortunate enough to have a very important and able team who keep and with the understanding of what our vision is and what we are doing is the right thing, and always feeding back on each other, weakness and strength, trying to fill it back, filling the gap. I think that's where I think it can keep you managing, moving forward on the right track rather than really focusing on whatever that person is criticizing or criticizing, because they don't know what you are doing. They have not experienced what you have done. And if they don't understand even the value of volunteer work, of course, it will be a side track for you. But then believe yourself and also believe in each other of the team that you have. And then everything could be fall in place again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Right here.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Izwan. I'm from Brunei Darussalam. Yeah, it is really impressive for me to know that in your organization you have so many volunteers that doing many kind of activities for this country. My question is that how do you really idealize the essential impact in the country, such as poverty, in the context of voluntary work? What are the ways other than motivation to attract more youth to participate in many kinds of activities in the country?
Thank you very much. I think from my own experience on this matter is really spending time with the youth and trying to really explain what is your vision and what is your intention behind doing each event. Because I think if you tell a youth to do what or fulfill their responsibility without them understanding the vision and what is the intention behind the event that you are doing, I think there's no motivation and there is no dedication to it. But once they are able to understand what you are trying to do, and especially allowing them to actually not only participate, but actually raise their voice and inclusively put their own ideas into the event. For example, like Angkor Sankranta, as I mentioned, we allowed all the teams to discuss and what they actually want to see. And with that, it is the only driving factor and the most important driving factor why people actually keep on going, keep on joining, and actually making all of our events that we have done so far a success. Spending a lot of time with them, listening to them, and really share your own vision with them and make them understand and inclusively include what their vision is and their ideas within it as well. And that's
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And staying right here.
Hi, I'm Henry from Malaysia. Okay, you talk about changing the mindset of the Cambodian youth. So I'd like to ask, how do you change, or in what ways can you change the mindset of the Cambodian youth? Thank you.
I think it depends on how narrow or how broad you define change the mindset. At which level, at the public mindset level, as a social level, or at the volunteer level that you are trying to define that mindset. For us, it's simple. We start by small. Rather than starting by big, we start by small. Because once you're understanding what you are doing and the impact that you can do, it's start all from there. For example, as I mentioned, I think going to high school, telling them that, okay, let's go and pick up trash. All they can say is, it's dirty. Why would I actually join you? But then try to explain to them how with their individual action can impact the change in our society. And if you are able to change switch that mindset just from a person who is not longer throwing trash, not only not throwing trash, but also picking out trash, I think that's where it starts. Rather than actually really think at a big level, you start by the small impact, and I believe that is more doable and more realizable. And once you actually turn somebody who used to throw trash into someone who actually can just see trash and then picking up trash, I think that's a big success already. Thank you.
Great. And back over to our right here.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Xu Yuxing from China. We can say a bright future through your word, but I wonder on what situation or occasion you will hesitate. Have you ever hesitated to do some decisions these years?
I'm sorry?
Okay, can you say it one more time for me?
Have you ever hesitated to do something during these years?
I missed part. You're saying something about what are you going to do this year?
Hesitate. Think about a long time to make a decision.
Oh, does it take you a while to make a decision? Do you hesitate when it comes to making a decision?
A hesitation on...
Decision regarding the NGO?
It's very hard to make, yeah.
Oh, it is hard? How is it hard to make a decision?
Do you hesitate when it comes to making decisions for the NGO? Or do you have to ponder on it?
About NGO?
Making decisions.
Making decision about what?
Do you hesitate? In anything in specific? In general, okay. Are you asking, is he having to take time to make a decision on a particular item?
Yeah, a decision is hard to make and take a long time for you to thinking about it.
Oh, okay. I got it. Okay, I'm not quite sure whether I got specifically what you have. It's really depend on the event. The level of responsibility and the level and implication of the event itself. If it is big, of course you need a long time to assess as well as discussing among working group. If it is small, for example, in 2013, to actually inform our UFYFC member at the provincial level to go assist our people in need right away during disaster relief, that is not you don't need to think twice about this. But then if it is Angkor Sankranta, there's many factors that you need to factor in order to evaluate whether you actually move forward or not moving forward. So it's really depend on the level and how big is the event and how big is the implication attached and the criteria that you need to think about it.
Impressed, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you for excellent presentation. My name is Hun Many from, I'm blind, totally blind person, and also I come from Cambodia. My question is that, as you advise, will you include the disability into your youth group? As according to the UNCRPD of Cambodia ratified and also the disability law in Cambodia. Thank you.
Sorry?
Will you be adding in disabilities as part of the organization's, maybe you want to say bylaws? You talked about race, it's void of race, age, political backgrounds, but he's asking, will you also be looking at disabilities?
Can I repeat again?
Yes, please.
Okay. As your advice, will you include disability into your youth group according to the Cambodian ratified UNCRPD and also disability law in Cambodia approved?
Thank you very much. I just understood. Thank you very much. For us, there's no, as it is stated by our article of memorandum, we have no discrimination against complexion or any disability. At the moment, we are in the process of rearranging our central committee member to include. But at the same time, although we don't have a representative yet, we have been closely working with the disability NGOs, including competition, a sport competition of disability, as well as other NGO involved with disability member. We do not have any discrimination. I can assure you that. But of course, it is a step-by-step working at reform. Thank you.
Okay, coming to the middle.
Good afternoon. My name is Hui Xin and I'm from Singapore. In response to a question earlier, you mentioned that your organization has partnered with Red Cross before. So my question is in relation to international NGOs. I'm not sure, but because there may be sometimes conflicts of interest as international NGOs have their own agendas and projects. So I was wondering, when it comes to working with international NGOs, what are some of the factors that you take into consideration? Thank you.
Thank you. For us, very much so. We are a non-political NGO. And yes, we do. We have experience. I would not name which organization, NGO, that we have met that experience with. For us, it is very simple. Doesn't matter if we are the main organizer of the event or we are involved in collaborating with the event set by another NGO. As long as the objective and the goal is clear, that is non-political, then we are really happy to support and to join. But if it does carry political agenda or the hidden agenda, we actually tend not to associate, because we are not an advocate NGO. We actually do volunteerism and humanitarian work. So when that happens, and it has already happened, we actually step back out, because it is not in our intention to involve with any political agenda or set mindset. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Hannah Davis from Australia. Thank you very much for your presentation. My question is regarding the beginning of your NGO. From my experience, in most instances, when such an organization or organization as such is to be maybe started, you have difficulties in getting people to volunteer. Sometimes you have to promise them some money, or you have to maybe give them some benefits. But you said in your presentation that you had 3,000 volunteers and you have 300,000 visitors. What did you do to motivate people to join you from the onset?
First of all, I think it depends on what type of event there is. For example, the concert that we carry out to mark the 35th anniversary of ours, it is volunteers who are already member of UYC. So individual head of UYC organization at the provincial level can assist, and if they cannot assist only in the academic, in logistic, meaning that paying for the transport, accommodation, and also in food, then the central committee of the central headquarters would assist them in that regard. But we limit ourselves in really paying for accommodation and transport. We do not actually promise them money. Yes, it is an issue that you have mentioned. But for us, we leave it to the volunteer to actually make their own decision. We tell them straightforward that we don't have any monetary to promise them. So it is really up to them to whether join or not join. For Angkor Sankranta, for example, they join. We only provide the food, the lunch, as well as water, just because they're actually rendering service and doing their work for us. But other than that, we leave it really up to them and very clear. There is no money to gain, and it's really up to you to join and not join.
Thank you very much.
Right. We'll take your question. I think we'll have time for two more. So you're one, and then two after that.
I'm local delegate, yeah, and I would like to ask you a simple question that when you was just finished your high school, what you have been dream and plan to do, and have you got success yet?
Thank you very much. I think, wow, I feel old now. No, I finished high school. I didn't know what I wanted to do, to tell you the truth. My first day, although I got a bachelor degree in political science from Australian University, believe it or not, my first declared major was economy. But because both of my brothers are economists, they are majoring in economy. But after one class of macroeconomy and microeconomy class, I found out that I'm not at all an economist. So I just switched to political science just because I love history in high school. But to tell you the truth, I did not plan after high school what I wanted to be. I did not actually have a dream for that yet. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Hi, I'm Anuradha from Sri Lanka. My question is, your organization is a volunteer-based organization.
Okay, slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
Just speak a little bit slower so we can catch it.
Yeah, your organization is volunteer-based organization. So almost all, most of your members are volunteers. So if you're planning, there should to sustain your long-time work, there should be permanent or full-time people in your organization. That means you need money to pay them. Otherwise, full-time volunteerism is not practical. So my question is, how you sustain in near few decades with a volunteer base? That means you need to have some sort of paid or full-time volunteers. But full-time volunteerism is not practical in this commercial world. That is my question. How you
Thank
sustain?
you. Thank you very much.
You got
I think, I'm sorry.
got the
Yes,
question?
I did get it. I think we need to delineate and separate the two things altogether. I agree with you. Volunteer work is based on event that actually we create. But for full-time staff, of course, you cannot have them volunteer and not having salary. And that is a matter that you cannot avoid. And that is something that we are looking at. And of course, we have members, central committee members who are also full-time members and also supportive in terms of financial stuff. Our able secretariat that is present here assisting a lot, they have a full-time job as well as a salary that goes along with it. Other than that, when you have event-based volunteerism, that's where it becomes a different story, which doesn't include monetary gain at all. Full-time staff, no choice.
Thank you very much.
That is unavoidable. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, sir. My name is Buddhi Vitanage from Sri Lanka. First of all, your plans and efforts should be admired on utilizing youth energy to address the issues of social, economic, and health issues in Cambodia. My question is this. We are in a world which currently discussing on youth inclusion in government policy making. So my question is, what are the points that you think? We know that you have a very large brigade of volunteers, and what is your attempt and what is your approach to address these volunteers in your government policy making? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Can you?
Are you, okay, don't go anywhere so I make sure I'm getting it right. She was asking, you've got all these different people in the organization, but as far as the youths are concerned, how do you talk to the youth and try to get them to come around to the way the government is thinking? Did I interpret that correctly?
Yeah. What is your approach in
What's your approach
policy
for reaching?
making, government policy making on this large brigade of volunteers that you have?
Thank you very much. I think that is a very important question, and that has many NGOs involving in advocating as well as trying to influence government policy on that matters. It's really depend on how you actually separate your objective. If your objective is to increase and create employment, for example, for youth after studying, or increasing the quality of education, if it is the objective of your NGO, then yes, you have to study, you have to advocate that the government need to incorporate your voice in their policy making. But all in all, I think NGOs, especially UYC, have a different kind of objective. It does not mean that we don't address that. It is an issue, and education is an issue that UYC take really seriously. And I didn't mention in the presentation, we also offer scholarship programs for our youth to actually join. But we are also working closely with the Minister of Education and Youth and Sport so that how we can find a balance and how we can influence policy making that is really addressing the issue of our youth. That is not our main objective of volunteer work because we do different way. But in terms of the main issue that is more social and that has an implication on policy making, we actually do it directly with the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport. So actually, they actually hear what we have to say, and we actually relay what our youth is concerned and also have to say. But
thank you.
This is a two different issue. Thank you.
Thank you. And the last question for this
Hi,
speaker.
I'm Stephanie from the Philippines, and thank you for inspiring us, especially with your community works. And in line with that, I would like to ask, how do you deal with communities that are not responsive or that are not willing to accept your volunteer help, even though there is obviously a great need for it?
Thank you very much. From our experience, we have not yet met that issue. Again, from experience, we have not actually met that yet. Usually, our people tend to welcome assistance. Our main purpose is to assist and to help. And if there is a case where they don't, of course, we cannot actually force them because their perspective, their judgment is different from what we actually consider. And from one of our colleagues mentioned earlier from Taiwan, is that the one important thing that we need to consider in any volunteer work is to put ourselves in somebody else's shoe. So with our community, if we actually can assess and evaluate that they don't really need our work, then I don't think there's no point to actually pushing forward and actually going against what they actually really want. Again, we have not met that experience, but thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening me.
Thank you. Well, that's going to conclude our questions for today. On behalf of the group, and I hope you'll join me in thanking our speaker today, Mr. Hun Many.